Good evening, Palace fans near and far. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. My name is Jel Holyoke, and tonight I'm joined by a panel with more hair on their backs and on their and on their heads to discuss the doom and gloom of yesterday's game against Leicester City. Is Ian? Hello, mate.
Jel, good evening, everyone. Nothing wrong with my head of hair, actually. I was thinking of getting a haircut before the semi-finals.
You haven't had that cut for quite a long time, so
no, it's getting a bit long.
Steve, how you doing, Steve?
Yeah, all good, thanks. How are you guys?
Good.
Hello, everyone out there.
Not bad. I've been thrown under the bus by Mr. Philpott tonight because he's he wanted to go out with his family for they haven't been out as a family for a while, so Sarah's won a competition or something for a meal and taking advantage of that. So enjoy, guys. I think what we do, we'll sort of, I'm not going to say skip through the game, but we will cover the game. And what I'd like to do more than ever really is for you guys to interact more, because I can see that most of you now have got an eye eagerly on next week, wishing away next week that it could come quicker. So any questions you want to ask us or any points you want to put across, give us a shout up in the chat. And then what we'll do, I think we'll all cover it tonight. We haven't had a lot of preparation behind the scenes because of work and everything else. And so I'll just go through like I always do, even though I'm hosting tonight. Go through who's in the chat. So Nick's wished us a good show. Claire Davis, Tom Clark Samuel, Steve Tween. But when it says Facebook user, I was a bit disingenuous the other day when I hosted and said that if you put Facebook user in there, I wouldn't read your tweet out, but stick a name in there because I think it's you coming through from YouTube. But Phil Usher, John Knox, Rob, James Convey, Rob Cranfield, Brad Campagnac, hope you're well, Brad, Joan Wells, George Wagwu, Steve Chandler, Steve Jupp, Paul Bristow, Tim Richards, Dawn Palace, Paul Holden, Real Panny, and Gareth Thorndale. Thanks for joining us, guys. Anyway, if we just get this out of the way a little bit sharpish. So I know you, Ian, were at the game yesterday. So, and as usual, when I host, I like you to go through the game and we can pick the bones out of it. So I don't think it was a surprise defeat because they're not too shabby, Leicester. And we were due a dip in form. We've been playing all right. We've done all right. So to me, even though I thought we had a chance of winning, losing wasn't a huge surprise. But maybe in the manner that we did lose. I've heard watched a lot of social media and people have said, didn't seem to come together for us. But if you've got some stats, mate, or either of you two guys, have you got any stats for the teams and anything interesting before we go into the first half? Well, here we go. I'll read them out, Ian, and you can just cover the first half. So, Leicester 50-50 possession. I like to see that. They're a good side, Leicester. 12 shots to our 11. 3 shots on target to our 3. We outdid them in corners. I think we had a corner against. We had one corner in one of our last games. So that's nice to see. 4. And we kicked them just ever so slightly more than they kicked us, 11-12. So, and the team, Guaita, Klein, Mark Gay, who's captain, Anderson, Mitchell, Kuate, Schlupp, Gallagher, Ayew, Mateta, and Zaha. I think Ayew has again got to start. I'm not going to go on about Ayew all the time. As long as he starts playing, as if his life depends on it, then we'll have a new playouts. So, and I saw, I saw a few bits and pieces yesterday, obviously with personal issues going behind the scenes, which I will tell you all about in a little while. But so much of a muchness for the team. No surprises. You were there. Not a bad stadium, is it? Really, is it?
That's right. It's one of these modern soulless bowls, I think, but it's not too bad. And I think when you get into the away end, once you're through the turnstile. They were a bit overzealous in searching people getting in yesterday. If you were trying to smuggle a drink in or a packet of crisps, you were in trouble. They really did pat you down rather a lot. And I did say to the bloke, hey, steady on, mate, don't get too personal with me. But I don't think he understood what I said anyway with my London accent, but there we are. But we got in the ground nice and early yesterday, got up there nice and early. And I'll tell you what, the real panel is listening to this now. The real panel is one of my away day buddies, and he is the oracle on food at away days. And the sausage rolls with red Leicester cheese at Leicester City are something to die for. Now, I had one, but he ordered 2 of them, and he always does that. But the red Leicester sausage rolls were absolutely brilliant. We had a couple of beers, no pushing and shoving, plenty of room, and took the seats nice and early. And, of course, it was one of those days. You said at the top of the show, Jel, that we're all thinking about next week. It can't come soon enough. Doesn't matter what Patrick Vieira said in his pre-match. I do wonder if the players have just got one eye on next weekend. You can't help. It's human nature, isn't it, to be thinking about such a big game that we have coming up next weekend. So, we started brightly enough. I think actually we started slightly better than Leicester. They came back into it. I think there was one shot from Mateta early doors where Wilf put him away. He was in the inside left position and he shimmied and he forced a really good save out of Schmeichel. It was top draw and he was a little bit unlucky not to score, to be fair. But they came back into it. They'd had a tough game in the week just 3 days earlier in their Europa Conference League, of course. And they made 7 changes. But they've got quality throughout, as you've alluded to. They've got some great players and they undid us. It took a time to come, the goal, of course. Before that, and again, Vieira talked about this after the game. He said he felt we didn't boss it enough in midfield, and I agree with him. And we passed the ball back too often, and that ball was tippy-tappy across the back four. Possession football is one thing, but when you start doing it too much, you just get a feeling it's one pass too many, and we didn't really get out of our own half at times. The possession in the first half was 60-40 in their favour, and it was reversed in the second period to give you a 50-50 overall. So, as you said, when you put the stats up, it couldn't have been closer in absolutely every department, those stats. And what was interesting about them is that the XG, our XG was better. So we had 1.52, so they're 1.25. So, and that was shown on Match of the Day, that stat. So I was quite surprised by that overall. But they got their goal. The first one, I think, was on 39 minutes. It was Dewsbury Hall that passed the ball through to Lookman, who took his chance really well. I thought that Guaita, when you saw it on the replay, it looked like he dived over the ball. And I thought he could have done better with it. It's a long way out, and he probably saw it late. But I'm being hypercritical here about Guaita. I think he might have done a little bit better with the first one. Nothing he could have done about the second one. But Dewsbury Hall with the assist for the first, and he scored the second. Now, I missed the second because I went to get a beer for half-time. I don't often do that, but I thought it was going to be big queues. We're 1-0 down. I'll pop down at half-time, get a beer in, and I heard a little roar. I wasn't sure who had scored, really, or what had happened, whether they got a corner, but they got a second goal. And there he is again, Dewsbury Hall. Sounds like a National Trust property, doesn't he, Dewsbury Hall? So he's a product of their youth system. 2-0 at half-time. And, you said no surprise. And I agree with you, no surprise. I mean, we've got to lose at some point. And they're a decent side, Leicester. Second half, they started better. They were on the front foot from the beginning. Forced a good save out of Guaita on about 54 minutes. And one thing I didn't say about the first half, of course, is we took off Tyrick Mitchell. He got a little knock. I think he was getting a bit of treatment before the game. And then he was on a yellow. It was his first yellow of the season. And what you don't want him is sent off or worse, injured. So either way, he misses a semi-final. So he took him off, brings Wardy on for his 300th Crystal Palace appearance, apparently. So that's something else. And then the other 2 subs came before the hour mark. So Eze was on the pitch. Good to see him on the pitch. And help me out, somebody who else came on. I haven't got any notes in front of me. Help me out, somebody. Who else came on, including
Well, we got a producer. He should better put something up on the screen.
I really should have my notes in front of me, but I haven't. So anyway, great to see Eberechi Eze. He was gliding across the pitch at times again yesterday, almost looking back to his best. Of course, MacArthur came on. Thank you guys in the chat. Dawn Palace, Paul Bristow, Real Panel, all putting in Macca came on. A lot of people thinking maybe Macca's the one to take Gallagher's place in the semi-final. We'll talk about semi-final a little bit later on. But let's come to the penalty. My goodness me, what a dog's breakfast that was. The short corner routine, I liked. Not seen that too many times. And Jordan Ibe takes the corner, gets the ball back, takes it into the box, draws the foul, clear penalty. No arguments about that. But Schmeichel, I mean, I know it's mind games. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He really got inside Zaha's head. There's no doubt about that. Wilf took one of the worst penalties. It was on the ground virtually. It was an easy save, really. We got lucky. The fact their lad was encroaching. So he has a second go, and the second penalty was even worse. I mean, my goodness me. It was like one of those penalties you get at half-time when they're doing the half-time kids' penalties. Schmeichel saves it, and he gets a rebound. And I'm not sure why he celebrated quite as much as he did, frankly, because we're only 2-1. And then, to be fair to Wilf, he did do some good things after that. And down the left, we looked dangerous at times. We forced a few more corners, and we were a little bit unlucky. There was a mad scramble towards the end that could have gone anywhere. And, it could have been an exact replica of the Selhurst game where we were 2 down at half-time and came back to draw 2-2. So, can't argue with the defeat, but equally, had we sneaked a draw, then, you couldn't have argued about that either. So no complaints from me. Lost 2-1, and, win some, lose some. And I think that's a great shot, that, of the ball in the back of the net once Wilf has headed it in. Third time lucky with his penalty. So there we are. There's my summary of the game. I've got no notes in front of me. And hopefully you guys agree with me in the chat. Or tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that we deserve to win or something. But onwards and upwards to next weekend, I think, Joe.
Yes. Steve, Wilf seems to be having a little bit of a problem with penalties. Do you think he's the best penalty taker in the side?
He's missed 2 penalties, isn't he? I mean, obviously 3 and 2 in one game, but I think the last one he missed was that slip of the ball. He slipped, didn't he? His left foot gave way. I can't remember who he was against. But I mean,
Norwich.
That was it, against Norwich. But other than those 2 misses, like Norwich won this one, has he actually missed? I mean, is he the best penalty taker? Look, if Luca's on the pitch, I think he has to, but he's been given the responsibility to take them. I don't know, was Eze on the pitch? Because I think I've seen Eze strike, obviously, free kicks, dead ball specialist. But then Mateta, he was on the pitch. He's a striker. Let him take it.
No, he seems to be in a bit
clearly Wilf's on pens at the moment. But the question is, would you leave him on pens for next week? Or would you, unless Milivojevic is on, that's a given almost. But if Luca's not on the pitch, who takes the penalty if we get one against Chelsea in the semi-final? What do you think in the chat, guys? Who's our penalty taker, given that Wilf has missed, so badly yesterday, really? Not once, but twice.
I think he has to stay. Go on.
Yeah, for me. But the thing about his penalties, I mean, the Norwich one, he slipped. But I mean, you can't. The angle of attack was 45 degrees, ridiculous against Norwich. I am not surprised he missed that. But those 2 penalties yesterday, a couple of years ago, I know we can hark on back to the good old days, but they really were the good old days because we never had this bullshit before VAR. But before that, both of those penalties, they were legit misses. The first one wouldn't have got retaken, and the second, and he missed the second one so badly. And the thing is, he was a bit unlucky, Schmeichel, because with his hands, he's very, very good. And it just happened to be that it just went straight back to Wilf, and Wilf bullet headed it in. Nothing wrong with the header. A rare bird, really, from Wilf. I can only remember, Brighton goals in the air from Wilf. Anyone else can, the playoff final down there when he scored. But yeah, and then the one at Selhurst Park as well on the far post. So, but yeah, I mean, he's a Yeah, it's a dilemma. I mean, I'm sure he can't be the only penalty taker, on that pitch if Luca isn't on the pitch. But anyway, just quickly, let's go straight into the. We'll talk about your dilemma in a minute, Nigel, when we come to talk about it next week. But Tim Richards said he said I've got a friend who's a Leicester fan that was at the game this week, and he said we were the better team in the second half. Claire Davis said, "We know you all love Ayew, lol." Graham Kitcher, evening everyone. Paul Bristow said, "Does anyone realise this? Our strongest defence appears to be Guaita, Klein, Anderson, and Gay, and Mitchell. We have not conceded any goals this season when all 5 of them have been playing on the pitch." Paul Alden says, "Never mind the green man. All round Jel's bar Sunday morning. You can come round. Former queue, 25 quid each. You'll love this bar, by the way. I can't. Can you see it?"
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it.
That's a decent fridge, that is, mate. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's not bad. You're going to drink all that on your own, or, you know? Mates,
well, it's everyone else, because I don't really drink apart from holidays. I only have the odd cider. So, Fergus Tid, good evening, gents. But yeah, I mean, it's for me. I really think that it's. I hope after those 2 penalties that something's going to be addressed in training, even if it's just for a laugh, just to turn around and see if there's other people.
Well, look, they're going to be practicing penalties anyway, aren't they? Because it's a knockout game, and if it goes to extra time and it's still level, then it's penalties on the day. But Real Panel said he's a firm believer if you miss 1 penalty, you get a second chance. Wilf missed 1 penalty in Norwich. He got a second chance yesterday. He missed that. He should hand over the responsibility. Paul, I'm sort of agreeing with you here, but it's a semi-final. I think if there was any other game up next, I would say let's have someone else on pens. But a lot of you in the chat are saying keep Wilf with the penalties. And I think really because it's such a huge game, it will be unfair on any other player other than Milivojevic, if he's on the pitch at the time, which he probably won't be, to take penalties off of Wilf. So I'm going to answer my own question. I think leave him with Wilf. And if he misses, he misses. But at least he's got recent experience of taking them under pressure. And this is what it's about, isn't it? It's under pressure. But he's got to get some practice in this week. He's got to make sure that when he takes those kicks, he hits the corners. Blimey, they're professional footballers on over 100 grand a week. He's got to hit the corners. He can't put it down the middle or on the floor. He's got to hit the corners.
Stephen Litland, what say ye?
I agree. She's just funny. She knows I'm on here. No, I agree. I think you just sort of hit the nail on the head. And I don't think taking the penalties off of Wilf in such a big game, i.e. a semi-final, as their first penalty, it's. I think it'll be wrong to do so. I think you've just got to get to Wilf. For me, I just think, look, he's missed a couple of penalties. He's got it out of his system. The next one he takes should be a good one. Should he miss one in the semi-final, then, yeah, we address it after that. But it's too big of a game to bring someone into, if we do get a penalty during the 90 minutes or 120 minutes, it's too big of a responsibility to do. You just stick with the old routine.
Yeah. I suppose you can ask the player, can't you? You can ask the player, Mark Callaghan says if Wilf has the confidence to step up, let him keep taking them. And, Patrick Vieira, no doubt, will sit him down this week and say, look, let's talk about this, because if we get a penalty, you've got to be right up here. You can't be thinking I'm going to miss. You've got to be thinking, I'm going to score this. This is going in. So.
I mean, I think the thing about Wilf, he's always had a decent PMA, and just by, I think when he's on his game, his positive mental attitude is just. I think he is unplayable. He is on a different level, and it doesn't matter who he's against. And Teresa Baker says in the chat, we always seem to up our game when we play better opponents. Well, let's hope so. Just going back into the chat, just a little bit backwards, before we catch up on the recent comments. They said apparently chocolate and beer was free for Leicester fans because it was their chairman's birthday. Ian's nodding, obviously. Yep. Should we get a Morley's when it's Parish's birthday?
Well, no, because yeah. Very good.
He done you then, didn't he? I'm just trying to just have a little flick through, and I think the just going up to where I've got. I think MacArthur, I think, gets the vote for playing if in the centre, and it won't be a bad call. You know, Jimmy Mack. I rarely, in all these years at Palace, have seen him have a bad game. You know, he might get overrun at times, but for me, I think you need to. You know, he's like what is he? 32, 33, going on 17. He's so fit, and I think also having a bit of time out, having those few months out, I think you know, I really think that that's done him well. A bit like, you know, I thought back in the day that we got rid of Murray too early. You know, he had a whole season off when he done his ACL, but he still would have scored goals for us. He still would have scored minimum double figures to 15 goals. And really, if you turn around and said, all we want is our centre forwards, just both our centre forwards, to score 15 goals each, you'd be absolutely joyous. But the thing with Murray, what did he do? 31 one season, and in 20s, and you know,
then he got injured first season back in the Premier League, didn't he? He didn't play a lot of football at all.
Well, it's a semi-final first leg against Brighton, wasn't it?
Yeah, I do think politics played a little bit of that, and when he left, I thought for what he did for us, getting us up that season, I thought, in my personal opinion, is he was treated disgracefully. But Joan Wells said Macca will take Connor's place. So, but anyway,
well,
let's
talk about that. Let's talk about that then. Let's talk about the semi-final.
Okay, right. So we're 21 minutes in, and we've done the Leicester game already. Teresa Baker, who's got balloons? Grant Saunders. Go on Grant's page. The Eagle has landed, and he's got thousands. He's not trying to make money out of you. He won't rip you off. I don't know whether I haven't read it, but on his site. But I'm pretty sure that you can either buy them off of his site, or you can meet at Wembley and just pay him at the steps or near as. But go on, the Eagle has landed, and I know last count, I know he had 20,000. So yeah, they can all blame Grant for the spending 20 quid on pins to burst them all. But yeah, the consensus just quickly then going back in is Jimmy Mack. Really, I think as long as Nigel Pearson's not on a touchline, says Nigel Croucher. But yeah,
very good.
But yeah, so this go on to it then. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have got what you would like as a team. Paul Gruber said 12,000, not 20,000. So, I mean, I literally haven't done any notes, and again, all become apparent. But at the end of the show, why I'm sort of a bit skitty on the ground with notes today. But have you got a rough idea of who you want of your team?
Yep, I have. Right, so this is my draft. Okay, so let's break it into sort of 4 sections, if you like, because let's talk about the goalkeeper first. So it's a cup match. Butland has been goal for every cup game so far. Therefore, Butland is our cup goalkeeper.
Yep.
Ergo, Butland will play on Sunday, I believe. I'm not saying that he would necessarily be my choice. I think probably Guaita still shades him, and I think Guaita is a slightly better goalkeeper. But he's played in every other cup tie so far. I think the policy of Premier League clubs these day and age is that you have your cup goalkeeper and you stick with them even through to the final. So I think Jack Butland will play in goal. What about you, Steve? What's your view on that?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's a no-brainer. As the cup's gone on, as he's progressed through the rounds, he's become better and better, I think. And the odd league game he's played as well, it's a no-brainer. You play him. He's the cup goalkeeper. He hasn't let us down in the last few rounds. Why change it?
Okay, so tell us in the chat, would you play Jack Butland or would you stick with VG in goal? Someone said, should we have played Butland on Sunday to give him some practice? No, because Guaita's our league goalkeeper. So there we go. Across the back, Klein, Anderson, Gehi, and Mitchell. I think Tariq Mitchell will be fine. I saw him go off. He walked off. He didn't look in too much discomfort. I think it's precautionary that they've taken him off yesterday. But if he doesn't play, who would you play at left back? Now, for me, I'll play Joel Ward. A lot of people were screaming for Schluppy to drop back into left back yesterday. I actually think Vieira made the right call bringing Joel Ward on. He's a right back normally, but he can play on the left. He's played on the left for us before many, many times, and he's never really let us down properly. So for me, Mitchell starts, of course. If he can't start, if he's not fit enough, then Ward gets the shirt at left back. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, again, I couldn't agree more. I think from what I've heard this evening, from what I've seen on highlights, personally, I think it's, like you said, a precautionary measure. That back four, back five, including the goalkeeper, is an absolute no-brainer. I think it'd be too big of a game to change to a back three, maybe. So, yeah, I think you have to go with that. And I think Wardy is the natural person to come on. I think Klein could also go left back if need be and Wardy at right back. I think there's versatility there. But, yeah, I think it's I don't think there's anything wrong with Mitchell. I think
if you swap them over, you've probably got too much change. You know, Klein is used to playing right back. You got a view on the fullbacks, Joe?
No, I mean, obviously, I'd like to see Tyrick at left back.
Yep.
But again, I you know, it's, for me, I don't know what it is about. I can't, in my head, I'm still unsure about Klein. I know people just, you know, you watch him all the time, so you will have it. But for me, again, Wald has never let us down. Most really good teams now have got fast wingers. They've got fast wingers. I mean, I'll probably touch wood, but he can't get sent off. He can bang a tackle in. He's got, you know, his nous is very good. But I'm just, for me, I don't see what he did wrong.
What Ward are you talking about, are you?
Yeah. I'd be happy with what
okay. Jel, the reason Wardy lost his shirt was that he was injured. That's why Klein came in. And the reason Klein kept his place was that he didn't do anything wrong. Now, again, I'm a firm believer. If you've got the shirt and you're playing well, you keep it.
It's yours to lose.
And unless there's a really big difference in class, you know, between the players.
Just on a note as well, I went to the Stoke at home gate. I think it was the Stoke at home in the Cup.
Fourth round.
Yeah. But I think, is it Adam Ramola, the young left back?
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying that he looked a bit suspect, but actually, when you watch him live, I was well impressed with him. I thought he was immense.
I don't disagree. He had a good game against Stoke in the Cup, and I think that, you know, people are saying why not play Tayo at left back if Mitchell's unavailable. Well, he just hasn't played enough minutes for me. It's a semi-final against Chelsea at Wembley. He just hasn't played enough minutes. That's why I wouldn't select him personally.
But Aaron Wan-Bissaka didn't make his debut until it was Man City.
But Steve, this is an FA Cup semi-final. You know, it's different. It's different. It's not Tottenham at home in the league. You know, it's an FA Cup semi-final. So, and the world's media is watching it. It's live on national television. You know, I just, you know, it's too big a game for a player like Adam Raiola to come in and play from the start, or even on the bench. To be honest with you, I would be very surprised to even see him on the bench at the weekend.
Yeah,
so there's my back four.
He will, but
say again.
I said I don't think for 1 second he will, but
no, exactly. Now this is midfield, right? No Gallagher. So who plays in midfield? Well, these are my three, okay? And you know, don't shoot me down, all right? Because it's different to what other people might think. I will play Kouute, I'll play Eze, and I'll play Schlupp. And the reason I play those three is I play Kouite because he's obviously, you know, defensively, you know, he gets stuck in. He's played lots of minutes recently, a real rock for us in the midfield. I'll play Schlupp because he's been playing recently as well, and I think he can fill the Gallagher role. He's not as good as Gallagher, but he can run with the ball. He can mix it up, and he can really get involved. He can do box to box. And I'll play Eze because Eze, he hasn't played a lot of minutes. He got on the pitch yesterday, but he can be a match winner. He can be the difference. So there's my three for midfield: Kouite, Eze, and Schlupp. Where do we go with that, guys? What are your views, Steve?
See, I was thinking that I would go Kouite, Maka, and Eze. That's what I was thinking. But it really does depend on whether Elise is back or whether he is definitely out.
Well, we come to the forward three in a minute. So, yeah.
But I think for me, yeah, Maka and Kiata as the two sort of pivoting, if you like, and then Eze sitting in front of them, but behind the focal
Jel,
point.
would you go with those three?
Yeah, I don't see the reason to change a formula that does work and has worked for us, through the season. Chelsea are not going to be drastically that much. I can't see them, putting out a weaker side just because it's against us.
Oh no, they won't do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they've played a pretty much a strong side throughout, and I thought if they were trying to protect, I know Mitchell come off, and everyone's under the impression that it's just a precaution, really. But Chelsea weren't taking any precautions, at the weekend when they smashed up Southampton 6-0. So they warmed up in a bit of style, really. But yeah, I don't see the need for change. If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it.
Well, a few people agree with me. So in the chat, so thank you guys if you're agreeing with me. If you're not, that's fine. It's a game it's all about opinions, and the only person's opinion that really matters on this is Patrick Vieira's, of course. So I come to my front three now. My front three, if fit, Elise on the right. I think he will be fit. Hoping he's going to be fit. Mateta, of course, down the middle, and Zaha on the left. So there's my front three. If Elise doesn't play, then Jordan Ayew gets to play because he's been playing in that position up until now in recent games. So that's my front three. Would you change that, Jel? Would you go with those front three, or the replacement in Ayew if he can't?
Well, the obvious, if Elise can't play, then Ayew plays, and I accept that because Elise has come in. Ayew's been out there for 3 or 4 years now, and now he's a younger, a better player has come along, and if he's fit enough, he plays instead of him. So I think he's got used to that. You don't see him being that, when he's taken off, being that aggrieved much anymore. He used to be, he used to have the ump. So, but what I'm more looking forward to with that front three is Mateta smashing up Rudiger, because he is a bully, and as long as he's playing, Chelsea, we have the biggest chance, because seriously, he has a head off mentality. Rudiger, you get after him. If he loves to just, he done it at our place. He smashes you up in the air and he gets the and I think that if it goes the other way and Mateta starts to bully him, I think he heads off and he goes off, because that is the kind of thing that these real top class players do. When they're on their game, they're good. When they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they're very bad. And that's what I'm hoping for. Wilf takes care of himself out wide, Mateta, and either or, Ayew, and Ayew will I imagine do better on a big Wembley pitch than he will do at a smaller Sellers Park pitch. So he'll have a bit more room. Well, there's loads more room. And I think if he literally does hug that right-hand side and stays out right-hand side, then I'm hoping that Klein becomes more of a fullback than he has been, that he can because he's still got a bit of pace about him. And I think that, there's hope for. We know what goes on the left hand side. The left hand side is our strongest side, but I'm hoping that the right hand side, ups its game a little bit more to give Chelsea problems over the pitch, so that they don't try and flood Wilf's side, trying to stop Wilf at all costs. I
think if Elise is playing, you get that, more than if Jordan Ayew is playing. But Ayew will help out defensively, maybe a little bit more, and he'll bring that stability to the right hand side. So I'm going to give you my subs as well. I'm going to give you my bench, if that's all right. Guita on the bench, of course. And this is assuming everyone's fit. So my bench would then be Ward, Tompkins, Milivojevic, MacArthur, Ayew, Benteke, Edouard, and Hughes. Now, the question mark over Hughes. Hughes is injured at the moment. Took a knock. If you look on FPL, he's 75% chance of playing. So there's no space for Riedeveld, no space for Kelly on the bench. But that's not a bad bench. Edouard, someone said, what about Edouard? Edouard doesn't play in the semi-final. He just doesn't play enough minutes like recently. But he could be really useful off the bench. And don't forget, this is a knockout game. with extra time looming if it's level, and you need players to come off the bench. It's a squad game on Sunday, not a team game. Joe?
No, I think, I make you right. Everything you've said about that, Ian, bang on. Just going into the chat quickly, Tim Richards said, who else hasn't had their tickets yet? So 2 of our crew, Tim, by the sounds of it, hasn't got his. Nigel hasn't got his. Anyone else not got theirs? That'd be interesting. I mean, I know, it's only Monday and everyone's sort of flapping a little bit, but it is only a few days.
It's a concern, though, isn't it? It's a concern.
Well, the other thing is as well, having, I went to the England games and all you need is QR code. Palace must, or whoever's sorting out that, if they can't send you a physical ticket on a piece of A4 or again, a physical ticket per se, then they can send you a QR code. That doesn't take very long to do that at all because you're in their system. If they've got an email address, send it to you. You stick your iPhone or whatever phone underneath that little thing. I saw loads of people do it and it's perfect. So, and then Nick Philpott said some not got tickets at all. So I got mine. Obviously, I won't be with with all you lot. I will be in the posh seats because I've got a mate who gives me free tickets at Wembley in the posh seats. So thank you, Alex, again for treating me. But yeah, it's I'm so looking forward to this because I think for once, in a game against Chelsea. Again, I hope we're not bocking this, but I do think we have an even chance. It is for me, it's a 50-50 game. They won't want to lose it. We don't want to lose it. And Claire Davis, I just saw it go up a little bit earlier on. She said, "Will you love Ayew again if he scores the winning goal?"
Of course he will, Claire. Of course he will. Of course he will.
Hold on. He can't love him again because he's never loved him in the first place.
That's a very good point, Steve. That's a very good point. I just want to pick up one thing in the chat. Paul Bristow down in Plymouth. Hello, Paul. Paul Bristow makes a really good point. Ayew has been ineffective against Chelsea in both games this season because they like to hog the touchline. Yeah, so Paul watches every single game home and away. He knows what he's talking about. And, good reason for Elise to start probably on Sunday. Yeah, good. Right, where do we go now?
Referee for Sunday. Anyone know, Ian?
Say again?
Do you know who the referee is for Sunday?
Oh, Greg was going to find out, wasn't he? And let us know. Maybe anyone in the comments want to put who the ref is on Sunday. Real panel will know. I know he will. But no, tickets. No. If you haven't got your tickets yet, guys, my advice to you, simply don't panic. They will come through and there'll be a record of it all. And you will be able to get in, of course, there won't be a problem. Anthony Taylor on Sunday is the referee. Oh. What do we think of Anthony Taylor? Because Anthony Taylor, I think, didn't he do the City-Liverpool game yesterday? Was he on that? Was he? He is one of the top refs, Taylor, I think. He's one of the ones that are preferred for the bigger games. He's got the experience. I get a bit confused. They'll look alike to me. They're always the same kind of kit. But at least it's not Kevin Friend. Yeah, thanks, Tim. Yeah, it could have been him, couldn't it? And there are others that are a lot worse than Taylor. So it is what it is. And we'll have to just make the best of it. So yeah, don't worry about your tickets. If you haven't got them yet, they'll be in. I've got mine today, so I'm all right, Jack. So there we go. I did manage to sort out one more for someone. Thankfully, Mr. Grant Saunders for stepping in and helping out today for somebody. But Nick put on a message earlier. He's supposed to be out with his wife and family, but he put a message on earlier that said, "Breaking news: there are more tickets available." So I don't know whether that's a wind up. Can anyone corroborate that? I haven't seen that anywhere.
I did hear that earlier.
Yeah. Because I have heard a whisper that Chelsea have been sending tickets back. They can't sell them all. So it'll be very interesting to see if we've got more fans at Wembley than Chelsea on Sunday.
We certainly have more real fans.
You got no fans.
Yeah. You want some? You want some, mate?
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. Like I say, I'm gonna look at it from afar. I'd love to be, singing with everyone in our end, but I've had the last 4 days where I've just been absolutely not dog sick, but just like a flu. And as I showed everyone earlier, just in case you do meet me, and I haven't it's my COVID test from about an hour and a half ago. So, but yeah, it's been a bit of a stress. So I can't take full breaths and everything. So I start jumping up and down.
Jel, tell me, where's your posh seat then? Whereabouts are you sitting?
It's row 4, green block. If you look at the substitutes, they're about
where you were for the England games then, yeah?
Yeah, for the first. I was in the down row 4 next to the substitutes basically, and then this one I'm sitting behind them. 16 rows behind them, something like that.
We
I know.
You were on to Patrick
in the nice padded warm seats, which is, it's nice and comfortable on my big butt. But yeah, no. I can watch a football game, be involved with a football game from a fan perspective, but I can watch a football game quite differently these days. As I get older, I like to player watch rather than stand up and scream myself hoarse. And this is abusive against the other team. But also I love to watch our fans singing and just making more noise and just being. I'm not going to say better fans because that'd be a bit facetious to say that, but having a more vociferous support. And that when the world are watching, the HF and the Palace fans, they do take that step up. But yeah, it's I'm so looking forward to it, to just sort of sit back and watch the game go by without too much stress. So obviously,
I don't know how you can say that because I kick and head every ball, me.
I do, and my wife says to me, "You sit there and do that," and you know what I mean. And you're trying to when someone's got the ball and you've got your back to it, I'm like that. I'm sitting there like that, trying to shuffle and trying to move around them. But yeah, it is. I'm finding it easier. But we'll sit together one day and we will.
Look, Jel, listen, I've invited you to come and join me at Sellers Park many a time. You haven't taken me up on it yet, so
no, I know, but
I
know, but I only had the second jab in December purely so I could go on holiday. I'm not an anti-vaxxer or anything, but I just wanted to go on holiday, so I had both of the jabs, and I just didn't want the spectacle of, especially me, just. Because I do this and I do get recognised a little bit, and I didn't want people, and I don't want to get pelters on social media, you know what I mean? And I didn't want this show to get pelters because of me. So, but yeah, I mean,
there we go.
I'm looking forward to it.
Just ask Tim Richards or Lucy Asher what it's like to come and sit with me at a home game, and they'll tell you how it is, So,
Well, I need shin pads.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Anyway, let's. One of the things people were asking about where people meeting up. Obviously, there were so many of us. It's probably going to be impossible to organise an actual meetup on Sunday before the game. But of course, if you look on the website, it's got the language is awful. Tim Richards says. Sorry, Tim. Sorry, that's made me laugh. No, I'm not proud of that at all. So it's going to be too many of us to arrange a meet-up. But if you look on the Palace website, you've got the Box Park, you've got the Green Man, you've got other dedicated pubs. So, I know a few people are heading to the Green Man. I think Nick's going to the Green Man and Nigel. So, look out for us around the stadium pre-match.
Is it the Green Man for Chelsea?
No, it's ours. Oh. It's on our website.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I don't know what they've got, but I don't really care what they've got. We are wearing red and blue. Where Rob Donovan says, stupid question. It's not a stupid question, Rob, but this wasn't out some time ago, Rob. I don't know where you've been, but we are wearing our home kit. We won the toss.
I'd like to have seen the blue and white one.
Well, I think the blue and white one will only come out. We were talking about this on the way back from Leicester. If we happen to win the semi-final, if we play City, we'll obviously wear our home kit in the final. If we play Liverpool and we lose the toss, that is the only way we can wear that blue and white kit in the rest of the season in the cup. If we play Liverpool and we lose the toss, so it is the home kit on Sunday. I'm pleased it's home kit. We're red and blue. We're not yellow. That yellow kit, we haven't won in it yet. Did you know that we haven't won in the yellow kit? So we've got a few chances left yet for the rest of the season, but it's not a lucky kit for us. But there we are. So Nick's going to Covent Garden, then Box Park. So you walk through the whole of Covent Garden trying to avoid Nick Philpott if you want on Sunday, or just avoid Covent Garden, full stop, There we go. As long as we don't realise it's a yellow and black striped kit, absolutely. Yeah, that kit. It was interesting to hear Steve Coppell's view on that. We weren't sure why we ever wore that kit, and we haven't worn it since, of course. It was horrible.
Oh, just on the note of Steve Coppell, and coming back to Joe earlier with the Facebook users at the beginning of the show. So I was watching on Facebook, the only time I've actually watched on Facebook when that went live with Coppell. And I actually obviously put a comment about Nathaniel Klein saving off the line and him chucking his blazer into the crowd at the end of the game. But that actually come up with me as a Facebook user. But yet I never actually, I had my name on it. So I don't understand why it comes up Facebook user. Just
we'll ask our techie people later. I won't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Stephen Arles has got that shirt. He's got that cup final replay shirt from 1990. And pride of place, I'm sure. There weren't many of them, were there?
No, Ian Lyons has got one. My mate Gary Ullman's got one. So Stephen Arles has got one. That's 3 out of what?
Yeah,
they've only made
4.
what? 15. You've got one as well, have you?
No, Real Panel's got one.
Oh, there you go. So that's 4 out of what's let's say 20 at the very most. I mean, back in them days, only 2 subs, wasn't it? 3 subs.
No, I don't mean a match worn one. I mean one that you can buy. There are only 1,000 made.
Oh, I see. I'm talking about the match worn ones. I didn't even.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't want those, the pretend ones. I'm talking about the real ones.
You move in the right circles, didn't you? Match worn shirts, 4 rows back from the
suspension. Seats at Wembley.
AliceEagles.com said, I've got a Tulip Computers original yellow shirt. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a few of those about. But yeah, so Mukhtar Butter said, "Oh, that's a great call." See, that's again, I'd love to if someone had thought about this. Mukhtar said we should wear the 1861 shirt. I am hoping that if we get to the final, that does become a thing, because it was quite a big thing that realizing that we weren't, that we were 40 odd years older than what we were. That's substantial. It's not like we're 1905 and we've gone down to 1901 because someone's found a program somewhere, or a great granddad's diary and said I played for Palace against Surrey Dockers or something. You know what I mean? It's a big thing. I'd like to see that. But yeah, a lot of people saying about wearing Mark saying he might have to wear his centenary blue and white as he's worn it for all the other cup games. Well, there you go. Yeah, Paul Holden said he's just Steve coming to Wembley. Did anyone ask him? Did you ask?
No,
him?
we did. I'm not sure really. Of course, he was. He carried the cup out in 2016 with Sir Alex Ferguson, but I think unless he's been invited by the club, he probably won't be there. He's a very private guy. I was talking to someone else that sees him at non-league games and was saying that he's got his cap on and very few people actually recognise him, and that's how he likes it. So good luck.
Oh, he is. He's a very unassuming fella, but I mean, it's. I really enjoyed meeting him. So I've seen him a couple of other times before at private functions, but now I know that he's banging to his golf. I'm going to try and get my son on one of his golf days so I can just drive him about. I'll just drive his buggy about all day. But,
well, one thing for sure, he's a friend of the show. He's going to come on again at some point in the future.
He's been more reliable. Yeah, he's been more reliable than John Solarco.
Well, that's true. And John Solarco, let me tell you about John Solarco, right? Okay, John Solarco was supposed to be on the show a few weeks back, and he promised me he'd come on. And I sent him the link and everything. So I'm messaging him as we're doing the show live, and I'm not getting anything back. So next day I ring him, and he says, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I forgot all about it. I was in a pub, and one drink turned into about 4 or 5, or something." So. Yeah, JS, what a mate, there we go. But you're right. We don't get Sir Steve, Jim Cannon, or Solarco on any other show, only here on the Red and Blue Review. And so we'll get them all back at some point. By the way, nice little piece on Jim Cannon in the Leicester programme yesterday. They feature a player of the opposition from years gone by, and it was Jim Cannon. And I've got a photograph of that page, and I was going to tweet it, but I forgot all about it. So I'll tweet it after the show. And you can have a read of it yourself if you weren't at the game and you didn't get a programme.
Well, Rob Donovan said we have to win on Sunday. I'm not ready to let go of the "We've Got Super Pat Vieira" song. Not yet, he says. So, but I had a little thing about that. We can just adapt one of those lines, and we can actually keep that. I'm just wondering
he took
how
us
long.
all the way to Wembley.
Yeah, but we wait until we've lost 4 in a row. I think that's all disappear. But anyway, listen, I think we've pretty much done everything that we needed to do. I just need to clean up.
We need to look at predictions. So I want some predictions for the game on Sunday. Really, we should do that, Joe.
Go on in.
On that note of predictions, just sorry to interrupt. So I think I spoke to the panel a while back about this, and I've kind of revised my thoughts. But Crystal Palace, from my memory, have never lost a one-off single game at Wembley other than the replay. So not a replay, not a two-legged semi-final, but I don't think we've ever lost in 90 minutes a game at Wembley that doesn't include replays.
Okay. There were some interesting stats about what our friend Chris Lehman at One More Point tweeted about the fact that in the previous semi-finals of FA Cups, when we've lost the game prior to the semi-final, we've won it. When we've won that game or drawn the game, then we've lost the semi-final. So we lost on Sunday. And next game semi-final means we're going to beat Chelsea. I'm going for a 2-1 win in normal time. All kinds of other results are coming through from people. So I'm going 2-1 Palace in normal time. Where are you going, Steve?
I'm going to be ambitious and say 3-1 Palace.
3-1. Okay.
It's a big pitch. Wilf, Elise, IU stretching their legs, Mateta. I can see us scoring goals.
Yeah, I agree with the scoring goals, but I'm going 2-2 and Wilf wins it in the second half of extra time. In the chat, Mark, it won't be a penalty. I've not seen that. Mark Callaghan said John Burridge to come on next season. I don't know. He's absolutely mad as a box of frogs. But we'll if people want him on, if people ask, then we will ask the question. And you know what, Teresa? I swear to God, I can't believe you've written that. My replacement for that line was Palace climbing up the Premier League. I can't believe that. I didn't want to mug myself off and say it, and you've written it, and that's exactly what I would have. So we can keep that song going as long as the fans are happy with Vieira. I mean, for me, I think we'll go from strength to strength, and that's exactly word for word what I would replace it with. Bizarrely. Anyway, getting into the chat, Gareth Thorndale 2-0 Palace, Luke Cooper 2-1 Palace, Nigel Cratcher 2-0 Palace, Joan Wells, hope you all enjoy it. Tom Clark Samuel 3-2 Palace. So that's what I've said. Nice one, Tom. We don't agree on a lot, me and Tom, but I'm glad to see there. And he's listed Zaha, JP, and Anderson, which is good. Mark Callaghan said 2-1 Palace. Mukhtar 2-1 Palace. Paul Holden 5-0. Okay. Nick Philpott 1-1 after 90 minutes. Palace to win in extra time. Daniel Garlick 3-1 Palace. He said, I hope 3-1, but it might be 1-0. Okay, so he's got two guesses. Damo 3-1 Palace. Andy said everyone wants Palace. Steve Jupp, everyone. Paul Group 4-1 Paul Gruber. Hang on a second, Paul. How many of these you had? But yeah, John Knox 2-1 Palace in extra time. So, and then Paul Bristow said we lost to Tottenham at Wembley in 90 minutes.
In a league game. We lost 1-0 in a league game.
Yeah, exactly. Keith Diamond said Palace to win after extra time. So there's a few of us that think it will go. And now we've got the first one, Crystal Palace North East. Is that Nigel? I don't know. But he said Palace to win penalty shootout. So penalty shootout is quite popular. But yeah, so no one's really saying we're going to get our backsides handed to us. 2-1 seems to be the score. Rob Cranfield, Facebook user Teresa Baker. So 3 more. And then Fergus Tid 2-1. So yeah, really.
Fergus Tid says 2-1 for every game, though. Every game.
Oh, does he? I think there's a fella
Nick
Nick knows. I think he has a bet every week, and it's free.
No, he's a mate of mine. He's a mate of mine.
Who is it? No. There's another fella. I can't remember his name now. He always puts out videos on Facebook of him screaming and hollering.
I love Jel's stories. He's got no detail. He just, he's some guy. No.
No, I can't remember. But Nick Philpott, I know it is. Anyway, listen.
I'll tell you what I am on. I am on at 117.5 to 1. I think I got at £10 to win the cup. All right, that was after the third round. So if you're on the Palace to win the cup. Don't normally do it, but I did it this season, so that's good. I might not have been on the winner of the National, like some of you were, but
Nick Philpott.
Well, he's got me to thank. He owes me about 10 beers.
My missus won a competition.
There we go.
Nick
Noble
won
game, 50 to 1.
Yesterday. They weren't the only one. I've known a few people that already.
No, I didn't win the Nationals. I got messages saying, "Are you backing it?" To be fair to Nick, he messaged me Saturday morning and said, "Are you going to back your namesake in the National?" And I never did it, and so I've only got myself to blame. But there we are. So
just to throw it out there, I think my horse is still winning.
Is that right? Yeah.
I like the point that Leon Sands, I think it is, or Sands, said about Chelsea going into extra time. That's a massive game for them. So, yeah, I really hope that they do go to extra time as well. I think that could make a bit of a difference. But they've got a massive squad, haven't they, full of superstars. So let's see what happens.
Good shout, man. Good shout.
But we've got a competitive squad this year. So I don't care who they bring on.
Well.
Yeah, and it's a big pitch. And I think with our playing game, with our passing game, I think we'll do a lot better out at Wembley. And a couple of our players, one not so experienced, has had 2 games in recent times, and so has Mark. So I'm very happy that they've had a little run out when they might not have had any other time, especially Tarek. So are we all done on this Chelsea thing before I
think we are.
I wrap this up? Okay.
Chelsea. I'm glad they played Southampton and got that result out of their system.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked that. That would have been on Sunday. Jesus, I mean the padded seats will take a bit of a kicking, mate. If that happens. Listen, So I mean, many of you know, it's just on a slightly sadder note. We wrap up all the football. So a friend of mine and ours, a few people, a guy called Nick Jel, he's fighting his own personal battle at the moment. Nick's a teacher of children that are in perilous situations that 9 times out of 10 don't make it, and he's spent a lot of time, taking kids to the end of life with terrible diseases, etc. And his own son beat cancer last year, Will, and this season they've been travelling home and away as a celebration of Will beating it. And unfortunately, Nick got some bad news last week, and it's been in social media and it's been on, the show that he does, the Eagles Nest and stuff, and everyone knows about it now. But I'm just, from me, and I'm sure from you guys and from everyone in the chat and everyone that knows Nick, if you see him at an away game, because he is wild before he undergoes his treatments, which has already started, the tablet form of it at the moment, just wish him good luck, because he just he's always had everyone else's heart. At first he puts everyone else first, and he's had a difficult time over the last 2 years with problems within his family, and just chin up, Nick, and I know it's all going to go well for you. But if you see him, just give him a little tap on the shoulder, only a light one, because his barnet's going to fall out, and he said to me yesterday, the other day on the phone, he's grown a big pair of pork chops that he's had for a few years now, and he's really proud of them, really big bushy ones, and they're all going to fall out soon. So, just give him a little bit of support, and I'm sure he'll really appreciate that. But yeah, so good luck, mate, and I'm sure everything's going to be fine. And then on a more slightly happier note, I became a granddad this weekend for the second time, as some of you know. I saw it in the thank you. I saw it in the chat, some people wishing me congratulations. So thank you. I mean, it's not all about me. I didn't do anything. I'm just, just going to cost me a few quid more, as Ian well knows, with a sisterhood of, granddaughters, etc. So you got 5, yeah. Well, I've got 2, and they can stop now. It's, I need some of my money for my time. But yeah, so well done, Carly and Ben. Well, especially Carly, because she was the one that done the pushing. But welcome to the world little Rose Tompkins, and I'm sure you're going to be very happy. But thanks everyone. Thanks for all your best wishes, and I'll I'll pass everything on to Carly. I'm sure Ben will be looking at this at some time or other. So, but yeah, thanks very much. And myself and my wife Lisa are very proud at this time, as are Ben's parents as well, and all our families. So thank you very much. So that's the end of this show. Thanks for joining us in a real winging it show, because we because of my health and situations and stuff like that, we've not had the best preparation, but I think we've winged it enough to give you a little bit of a show and a see through to Sunday. But I'll be there. I'm sure most of you will be there. Most of you in there, and I'm sure there'll be Palace fans from around the world that are coming over. But yeah, and Aaron, whatever's going on, hope it sorts itself out sharpish. But from myself, Steve Mason, and Ian Noble, and Greg behind the scenes, thank you very much, guys. And like I say, if you see us at Wembley, come up, give us a shout, and we'll have a little chinwag. Thanks very much. Good night.
Good night all.